Alright, here we go. I was describing a situation, the simplest case. I was imagining a situation where the fairy godmother waves her wand over the business with debt, and that's a debt-free, cash-free basis. Marcus, what we could also do in valuation terms is go, as well as going from right to left, we could also go from left to right. We go from left to right, and of course this is the situation you guys are in, isn't it? This is your offer, this is your heads of terms, and you have to work out often what the seller of the business is going to get. This is often the value that is written in the sale and purchase agreement. If we're going this way, we'd subtract the net debt from our debt-free, cash-free offer that's in the offer letter to work out what the seller gets. And certainly in the UK, that's what tends to be written in the sale and purchase agreement. Now Marcos goes to the top of the class because he has asked me a very pertinent question to do with what happens if the business has a situation where cash is greater than debt. What if cash or surplus cash is greater than debt? Okay? And this is what I'm going to say, Marcus. Look, you've probably already worked this out. This is our debt-free, cash-free, which equals our underlying, or debt-free, cash-free is our view of underlying business value. Alright? So we've got a business over here in our offer letter where we've got a view. We could talk about how we form that view. How is valuation determined? When we get into valuation, what we're talking about is how we form that view of underlying business value. Marcos, our debt-free, cash-free, there's a number of ways of thinking about it. Remember, we've explained the fairy godmother. That's one way, free of debt and cash. Another way of thinking about debt-free, cash-free, Marcos, is it's our view of underlying business value. If you're wanting to know why this debt-free, cash-free term gets used at all, it's because it's a view of underlying business value. So here's our view of underlying business value. We need to find out how we come up with that view. But I want to imagine Marcos' situation where we've got a business that's got lots of surplus cash. All right, in that case, where surplus cash is greater than debt, what we've got is a business that we've got some view of its underlying value, but also that business has got, if you like, an asset. It's got an asset which is not core to the business. What's that asset called? Surplus cash. All right? I want you to imagine a business where you've got the underlying view of the business's value. You've got that underlying view. Let's imagine that business, instead of having surplus cash, it's got a corporate jet. Or it's got a diamond sitting in its vault somewhere. This is a real case, by the way. There's a UK company that's got into trouble on the stock market because it had one of its assets was a construction company. Anybody think a construction company needs a diamond in its vaults? No, of course it didn't, but it had this diamond. It was supposed to be worth something like, I don't know, millions of pounds. It turned out it was worth £300 or something. It wasn't really, it was a rough cut diamond. So anyway, there's a business in the UK that people know about that had this non-core asset. Suddenly it didn't turn out to be worth as much. But let's imagine we're a business, it could be construction, but it's got some kind of asset, a racehorse, a corporate jet, a diamond. What are we going to pay for that business? In Marcos' case, that business has got surplus cash. Marcos, what I'm going to say to you, in the case where you've got surplus cash that's greater than debt, it's a slightly unusual case, and as a buyer, what you'd be prepared to do is pay not only the underlying business, but you'd be prepared to pay for the surplus cash. And I think you kind of knew that because you're talking in terms of paying cash for cash. When you're paying here, this is what the seller gets. Again, this is what the seller gets. He's getting something for the underlying business, plus he's getting paid out for his cash. So this is the case. This is the case where we've got surplus cash greater than debt. All right. Surplus cash, and over here what the seller gets.